Hi guys, hope you're okay. Obviously, I'm not Exit Light. Exit Light is really, really poorly, and we wish her get well as soon as she can. We have got a mega good podcast coming up as soon as she's right about haunted places and haunted forests, which is one that you do not want to miss. But for today, she has asked me to talk about fairies. Now, I don't know if she's trying to tell me something, but anyway, we've sort of touched on folklore before, but not so much, not concentrating so much on fairies. But I've read, from what I've read today, it's quite interesting actually. But I think we've all got this our own interpretation of what fairies are and what fairies do, and guardian angels and fairies and. But anyway, but when you think of fairies, maybe you're thinking of like Pinocchio's Blue Fairy, or the Good Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz, or Peter Pan's Tinker Bell. But in fact, fairies don't like to be seen by people at all. These tiny creatures can appear and disappear at will, and you may never know if you've seen one. The who's who of fairies. The Banshee, the Irish fairy. Now, we have touched on the Banshee. There's loads of names for this. The Woman in White, the Banshee, the Irish fairy. And she's more than not. It's more like you're more likely to hear her than you are to see her. And when you do hear her, it's the folklore says that someone is going to die. Someone close to you is going to die. Not so much yourself, but your best friend, your wife, your mother, your daughter, your whatever. My only query with this is, what if you and your best friend hear the fairy together, hear the banshee together? Are you both going to die? But anyway, I think the film The Ring, the one that was Chinese or Japanese, that got redone, and they've just done a remake now. I think that was slightly based on the Banshee. It's very, 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 very similar. Lots of if you read a lot about the Banshee and you look and you watch the film, especially the new film, which was brought up to date. But yeah, and while we're on the subject of the Ring, I would recommend the new one for people that, even if you've not seen the old ones, I would recommend it. So anyway, also, the Bogeyman. Now, the Bogeyman isn't somebody that lives up your nose. The Bogeyman is someone who lives in your wardrobe. You tell your children, beware of the Bogeyman. The Bogeyman will get you, which sounds really, really mean and really horrible, and it's not really good parenting. But anyway, but yeah, the Bogeyman is considered a fairy. So we're coming completely away from this little, tiny, little, beautiful little creature, twinkly little wand, and all the rest of it. If you can hear a scratching sound, it's my bearded dragons. I apologise. I know this picks up all sorts of sounds. Changelings as well. Changelings are supposed to be fairies. A fairy child takes the place of a human baby. Listen to this. This is horrible. A changeling is a fairy child who takes the place of a human baby, who the fairies think is being fussed over too much. The baby is then used to strengthen the fairy race. I don't like the sound of that. Don't like the sound of that. So, we've got some nicer, well, maybe not so nicer, but dwarves. These are creatures of the mountains, are miners with magical powers. They won't appear above ground in daylight because it will turn them to stone. If you remember the film Frozen, do you remember they used to turn into stone? Yes, I have got 2 young daughters and I've watched Frozen about 6 million times. Elves. Elves are merry creatures that live in little colonies under the earth. They love parties, music and dancing. But they kidnap people who are caught listening to their music. That's not very nice. Flower fairies. In the gardens of China, flower fairies dress like young girls and spread the scent of flowers as they dance. Goblins. Now, for years and years, I thought a goblin was a small pudding. Maybe that's because I'm from the north of England. They aren't very nice people either. They have deformed bodies with huge bulging eyes and live in underground caves. Not very nice at all. Many small cottages in Ireland built in a fairy path have front and back doors directly opposite each other, which are left ajar to allow fairies free passage. That's true. I've actually seen that myself when I've been to Ireland. So we're going to talk about genies, another type of fairy. In Arabian folklore, these spirits have supernatural powers and can appear in many shapes and sizes. They may be good, they may be evil, depending on their master. They live in unusual places like empty bottles. That's where we get the genie in the lamp legend from. Leprechauns. These clever, independent little men wear their 3-cornered hats. They are shoemakers who make only shoes, one shoe, not a pair. Every leprechaun has a hidden pot of gold. Oh, I'd like to find one of them. Pixies. These green dancing fairies have a king, a queen, and a full royal court. Pixies live in England, where they pull pranks on people. The Sandman. Now, I've not heard of the Sandman for years and years and years. I'm 50. I heard about the Sandman when I was a kid. He travels the world over, sprinkling sleep dust in children's eyes to help them fall asleep. The Tooth Fairy. No one has seen the Tooth Fairy, so their appearance has not been described. When a child's tooth falls out, the Tooth Fairy takes it away and leaves a reward in its place. Well, actually, one of my daughters has had quite a few teeth out. She's got a disease in her teeth. And I actually found an app. This is for all you parents out there who've got young children. There is an app where you can superimpose a fairy in your child's bedroom. And it looks so real. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So if you tell your children about the Tooth Fairy and they don't believe it, then just download this app, and it's absolutely brilliant. Really get them to believe again. To stay children as long as we can. Trolls. Usually men, maybe huge or tiny, but they're very stingy and nasty and hate lights or loud noises. It sounds a bit like my ex-wife. Will-o'-the-wisp. There used to be a programme on TV called Will-o'-the-wisp for you older people out there. Are mischievous fairies who light up on dark nights and snatch the lights of travellers as they try to lead them astray. So do we believe in fairies? Fairies are mythical beings of folklore and romance, usually having magical powers powers, and dwelling on Earth in close relationship with humans. They can appear as dwarf creatures, typically having green clothes and hair, living underground in stone heaps. I believe there is something like a fairy, but not like Tinkerbell. Um, I lean more towards the guardian angel type of thing, or scenario, where a fairy is a good omen, maybe like an angel looking out for you, maybe a relative that's passed away and who is there. Sometimes you get that smell of flowers or perfume, and it sends you back to a time long ago. It's amazing that a smell can do that, or I don't know, just deja vu, shivers up your spine, things like that. But anyway, that's my little walk down the fairy lane. So, Exit Light will be back as soon as she gets well, which should be soon. If I know Tracy, she will be fighting to get back to do this podcast. So, if by any miracle you like this video, bang us a like, and if you're not subscribed, why? And it's not always me droning on. Most of the time you'll be getting decent stuff from Tracy, but I just fill in. I'm just a fill-in man. So anyway, hopefully we'll be back soon, and I hope everyone's having a good new year. So take it easy, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.